Hello everybody, welcome to the project closeout video for project 1100242, Python 3 SDK for the CardanoBI API. We'll start off with the project overview before moving on to deliverables and achievements. We'll then have an interactive demonstration before closing out with key learnings and next steps. So this is the Fun 11 project. It was part of the Cardano Open Developers Challenge. Our budget was shy of 20,000 ADA, and our solution was to build an open source SDK for Python developers to integrate with the CardanoBI API and be able to access all three of our endpoints domains, namely the core domain, the business intelligence domain, and the partner domain. The benefit for Python developers is that they can now directly augment their application's code base with a streamlined access to Cardano's on-chain data without having to get outside of their technology stack. This allows them to build on Cardano in a more efficient and consistent manner, promoting shorter time to market and greater software quality. So our deliverables were threefold. First, a fully open source Python SDK for the CardanoBI API. Second, a state-of-the-art API documentation. And finally, a tutorial describing how to use the SDK. We achieved all three deliverables. First, we delivered the Python SDK for the CardanoBI API alongside an updated API documentation, which is now inclusive of Python code samples for each of our 80 plus CardanoBI API endpoints. We released a tutorial to introduce Python developers to the SDK and accelerate their onboarding to CardanoBI's ecosystem as a whole. Collaboration-wise, we're now looking forward to Python developers embracing the new SDK and providing feedback and raising change requests to meet potential new requirements. So let's jump into our more interactive demonstration. There will be three parts to it. First, we'll go over our GitHub repo, then jump into our API documentation and finish with our tutorial. Let's switch window and open the CardanoBI portal. We zoom in a bit. Why the portal? Because it's got access to all the important links that we need. First, our GitHub repo. Let me zoom in further. I think it would be better for you guys. On our repository list, we'll find our CardanoBI Python SDK repo. This is really the home for our CardanoBI Python SDK. Then we'll now move to the documentation by clicking on the docs link on our portal. And if we go, for instance, on the core domain, open the accounts endpoint, and you can see that now, as part of the code sample, we have a Python code sample. And this is the case across our 80 plus endpoints. Last but not least, let's go to our Python tutorial. It can be found under the tutorials menu. And here it is. So for the sake of time, I will not go through each of these steps. I have already generated CardanoBI credentials. I have already cloned the CardanoBI Python SDK, and I've already created a Python 3 environment. I will, however, walk you through step 5, which is about creating a very small Python script to test our Python SDK. So I've split the screen in half. On the left-hand side is our tutorial, and on the right-hand side is a bash command. I will create a new directory as instructed by the tutorial. So CBI Python tutorial. I'll get into this directory and call up VS Code. I'll keep VS Code on the right-hand side. And as instructed by the tutorial itself, I will create a new file called tutorial.py. I'll take the content of that file from the tutorial directly. And now we'll substitute those dummy API key and secret with actual ones, which I created in step 1 of the tutorial. There you have it. and opening a new terminal window, I will attempt to run this, this script. So let's go, Python, and our script is called tutorial.py. And there you have it, the latest block as from mainnet as of recording, recovered using the actual Python SDK. So let's talk about key learnings. Given the relative simplicity of this project, the learnings were more focused around task automation. We made sure that our future SDKs could be implemented faster with a higher degree of certainty and code quality. So what is next for CardanoBI? Well, we have already identified 3 SDKs highly in demand amongst our community, namely the Java SDK, the Golang SDK, and the .NET SDK. Then we will want to further develop our partners' domains, which is a business data distribution layer offering shared revenues for projects building and running on Cardano. And then last but not least, leveraging CardanoBI's infrastructure and open source approach, we want to implement Wally, our all-in-one wallet tracker. From the CardanoBI team, thank you for watching this project closeout video, and see you in the next one.